Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to talk about a breaker block. We are going to start with the definition of a breaker block, then we talk about the criteria for identifying a valid breaker block. The last one we are going to do is to map out a breaker block on a chart. So let's go straight into today's video. What is a breaker block? A breaker block is a failed order block that price has broken through after a break of structure or a liquidity sweep. Now let me show you what I mean. Let's just have a sketch first. Let's say the market was heading to the upside like this. You see a series of high, a low like this, all right? Then this particular swing here that is pushing to the upside, this is the origin, right? Here is the origin of this swing. And as price is pushing to the upside, this particular swing here has been able to break this last high here, giving us what is called a break of structure. Let's delineate this as a break of structure. Here we have a break of structure, right? And where is the origin of this particular swing that gave us a break of structure? This is the origin, right? And this origin here has an order block. The last candle that traded to the downside before this expansion move to the upside is what is called an order block, right? And this order block is formed at the origin of this swing, right? Okay, now let's map this origin out, which is the last candle to the downside. Let's map this out. Let me use a different color so it will not end up confusing you guys. Then after price pushes up to take out liquidity, you will have a pullback. It may get to a point like this, let's say a fair value gap, or it may get to this origin, which is an order block. In as much as it has not violated this, we are still in an uptrend, okay? But let's say this pullback stopped around here and gave us a new break of structure like this, right? Now, where is the origin of this particular swing here? This is the origin, right? Here is the origin of this swing, and we have a break of structure here, right? Now let me bring this here just to, we have this break of structure here, and this is the origin of this swing. We have here as the origin, and this origin also have this kind of candle formation up here, right? Now if the next pullback fails to respect this order block here, which is also the origin, and drops to the downside like this, automatically this order block here turns to what is called a breaker block, because the next pullback has failed to respect this order block. So the moment the price violated this order block, it automatically turns to what is called a breaker block. Okay, so we want to see price coming back to it, and this breaker block now holding price and pushing price back to the downside. Let's look out for a down. Okay, let's say price was heading down. We have this lower low and lower high. Price getting to this point and pushing to the downside again, right? We have another one like this. It stops here. This particular swing here to the downside, where do we have the origin? This is the origin, right? And here we have a break of structure. Let me just explain this last swing here. Here we have a break of structure. We have a break of structure here, right? And where is the origin of this particular swing here? Here is the origin. And this origin has a bullish order block here. This swing here has what is called an order block, which is the last candle that traded to the upside before this swing, all right? Now, let's map out the origin, which also has what is called an order block. You can see this last candle here. I'm going to change this color to something else. I'm going to change this color to another color so it will not end up confusing you. Here we have the last bullish candle before this swing here, right? This last bullish candle before this swing is what is called a bullish order block, right? And this is the origin of this particular swing here, right? Now let's identify what a breaker block is. If the next pullback fails to respect this order block here, which is also the origin, and pushes out of it like this to the upside, okay, immediately this order block here turns to what is called a breaker block. This order block here turns to what is called a breaker block. So we want to see price coming back to this block, which is now a breaker block, and this block holding price and pushing it back to the upside like this. Okay, let's look out for a criteria for a breaker block before we go on the chart to look for it. Now, a breaker block must give us a new break of structure, either a break of structure or a sweep of liquidity. Now you can see a breaker block giving you a break of structure like this. the next swing closing above this high here with the body of a candle, or it may just give you what is called a liquidity sweep like this. A liquidity sweep, like just trading above it, above this high here with just a wick, right? It will just trade above it with just a wick, sweeping liquidity above this high here, above this previous high, before breaking structure to the downside. Okay, so that is called a breaker block. Immediately you see that the previous high has been violated, either with a body of a candle or a wick, before the structure changes, before it breaks this particular block here. Same thing applicable to this. If you see that price has broken the previous high, either with a body of a candle or with just a sweep of liquidity, either closing above it with a wick, before breaking the origin of that swing, that is what is called a breaker block. Okay, here you can see here we have this swing to the downside. We have this break of structure here. We have this break of structure to the downside. Where is the origin of this swing? This last bullish candle is the origin of this particular swing to the downside, right? Now let's map this out. Let's map this candle out, right? So this is the last one before price pushes to the downside, right? We have this swing to the downside, then we have another break of structure here. After price traded down to this point, we have another swing to the upside here, right, giving us a new break of structure here, right? Now let's just bring this one here. We have a new break of structure at this point. So we have a new break of structure at this point. And where is the origin of this swing here that gave us a break of structure? Is this one, right? This last bullish candle here is the origin, and which is also like an order block. Okay, now let's map out the last candle. You can see this, can see how long this candle is. We're going to map the whole of that candle out like this. The next pullback after a break of structure, we are expecting it to respect this other block here. Immediately price gave us a new break of structure, and the next pullback refuses to respect this other block. Immediately this other block here turns to what is called a breaker block. You can see here the next pullback came back, respected this breaker block. Now it's called a breaker block because the other block has been broken through, so it's automatically turned to what is called a breaker block. So you can see here the next pullback came back and respected this breaker block and started pushing to the upside. Okay, now let's look out for another one. Based on the definition, I said breaker block is when price breaks through the other block after a liquidity sweep or a break of structure, right? Now we have a liquidity sweep here. Let's look at here. We have this swing to the upside. Price gave us another swing down here, right? Now for this particular swing here, let's concentrate on this particular swing here. This swing here traded below this last swing that was formed. This swing here traded below this old low, right? Now let's map this out. Let's see what we have here. Here we have a sweep of liquidity because it did not close with a body of a candle, right? It didn't close with a body of a candle. It just came down, closed with a wick. This is a liquidity sweep. So we are going to map this out as a liquidity. So this is a liquidity sweep here. Now let's still pay attention to this particular swing here. Where is the origin of this swing? This is the origin, right? The last candle to the upside before this swing here. This is what is called a bullish order block, right? Now let's map it out. Let's map the whole of that candle out. Okay, so this is like a bullish order block, right? But immediately price violated this order block here by trading above it like this. Automatically this particular order block here turns to what is called a breaker block because this order block here has failed to hold price and price traded above it. This order block here automatically turns to what is called a breaker block. So we want to see price coming back to this same block and respecting it to push price back to the upside. Okay, you can see here price came back. This was the pullback. This was a pullback coming back to the same block here. You can see here we have a pullback coming back to the same block and the market pushing it back up here. Now look at this. First, what you have to pay attention to is how the price close below here before changing its direction or changing its character, before violating this other block. How the price close below before violating this other block here. Did it trade above or did it trade below the last low, right? Did it trade below the last low, or did it trade above the last high if it's for an uptrend, right? If it trade below the last low that was created like this before violating the other block, right, before violating the origin of this particular swing here, automatically that is called a breaker block. All right, so we want to see price coming back to be respected it and market pushing price back up. All right, so this is how to identify a breaker block. Thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, please just consider clicking on that subscribe button. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you guys in my next video. Bye.